Welcome back to the One Funnel Away Challenge, day two from week two. So this one is the Epiphany Bridge. So we're talking all about the Epiphany Bridge. So anyone who isn't familiar with this, it's kind of funny if you go and you watch any Hollywood movie that's been produced probably since the beginning of time, it all follows like this kind of Epiphany Bridge, heroes two journeys kind of thing, where they go on this journey and they face all these obstacles. And if you look, there's books written on this. Actually, I went to school and I studied I studied film. I studied screenwriting and stuff like that. And when I was there, I learned that everything is just a formula. And when you look at all films, there's this like perfect formula that they can follow, where there's this like certain percentage of conflict and violence, and a certain percentage of humor, and a certain percentage of sadness that needs to be present, and these things need to happen. All films, at least American Hollywood films, are broken up into three acts. The first act ends when our hero, and there's almost always a hero of some kind. Maybe it's a collective of people, but there's always some kind of hero against some kind of villain, somebody trying to stop them from getting to where they're going. So our hero kind of faces this conflict, and the conflict is the beginning of Act Two. Act Two is the biggest portion of your film, and that's like the journey, literally the journey in the Lord of the Rings. It's just like them walking, basically, right? And then Act Three is there's some kind of big fight, and they get to some kind of resolution, right? So the a good story is going to flow like this. It's going to have a beginning where you're some kind of attractive character, as Russell Brunson calls it. Somebody likes for some reason. You need to be likable. You need to be funny. You need to be in jeopardy, something like that, right? And then you hit this point where you want to achieve this end goal, but there's all this stuff in the middle that's stopping you to getting from where you're going, right? Now, we all have stories in our lives, and this is the point of this particular challenge, is to start you thinking about what stories you can tell to help people get over their external and internal objections to what you're trying to sell them. So if you are going, well, I don't really have a lot of stories. Well, I think that you probably do, really. I mean, if you've lived more than 10 years on this planet, you have some stories. Now, they might not be as good as other people's stories, but maybe it's just because you haven't practiced telling them. You haven't figured out how to get those hooks in there so people are really interested in listening to what you're talking about. And then including information, including the reader or the viewer throughout the story, to make sure that they are engaged. Okay, so if you're doing that, if you're telling boring stories like the way Russell Brunson did in his presentation, where he said, my name's Magneto, and when I was little, the Nazis killed my mom, and I freaked out. That's not a good story, right? So if you're doing that, you need to like go out and learn some of the frameworks that you need to do to create a good story. And it's okay. I'm still learning myself, obviously. I'm sure a lot of you are bored watching me. I'm sorry about that. But, I'm just putting myself out there until I get better. All right. So that's what you all need to do as well. I'm going to include a free template below, and the template is going to be all of the questions that they ask to get you to realize what your Epiphany Bridge story is. Okay, so if you go through that and you answer all those questions, you should be able to put together an interesting and compelling story. And then you can go and you tell it to somebody, and they go, oh, and then you go, okay, well, they were really interested in this one part, so you need to maybe play that part up a little bit more. And what part were they most bored at? Okay, let's kind of try to drop that out a little bit, or try to make it more interesting in some way. All right. Figure out what your Epiphany Bridge story is. Me personally, I think that I'm still in the middle of mine, right? I'm still out there broadcasting. I'm still facing conflicts. I'm still coming up against walls, and I'm really looking forward to being at the end of that one, so I can start another one, because really we all have probably 100 Epiphany Bridge stories in our portfolio, and most of us just don't realize it because you don't sit around and you don't think about it in that way. So what I've done with this template is I put down all the questions, and then you have room to insert dozens and infinite really amounts of stories. You can tell a story about like when you were very little, or you can tell a story that takes only an hour of your real life, and like maybe you're going to the grocery store and you're trying to find this product but you couldn't find it because it was in the wrong aisle, and like whatever, you have this desire, you have this the character you, and then this the conflict or the problem, the wall that you're hitting, it's the product is in the wrong aisle. Practice putting your stories together. Tell as many different stories as you can, put them in there. And when you do that, the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. So go through and just, maybe you can put your main one in there, but if you face this point like I'm at right now, where I'm going, okay, well, I'm not here yet. I'm not to the end. I'm still in the beginning. Well, you can look at other stories that you have in your life and how you can actually put those in the Epiphany Bridge and resolve them. I'm sure you've had moments where you went, aha, moments of clarity that led to some kind of real change and real growth in your life, right? So if you are feeling stuck by this, just go pick up the sheet. I'm going to put the link below, copy it into your Google Drive, and then start filling it out with your own stories. Don't edit mine because then I'll see all your stories and maybe I'll share it with the world and you'll be really embarrassed. But yeah, go and fill in your stories as much as you can. Answer different questions. Think about different things that have happened in your life and fill those out until you have a compelling story to tell somebody that you can use to help you sell a product. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to this challenge. Go out there and write your Epiphany Bridge story. And it doesn't have to be right now. It doesn't necessarily have to be the story of the product you're selling. Just go write any Epiphany Bridge story that's yours, that you can tell and like show to people, show them what your life is. All right. That's it for today. I think I have to go to work soon, so I need to catch up on my last two videos tomorrow. I'm pretty excited that I was able to actually be a week behind on yesterday, and now I think tomorrow I'll be able to do both of the challenges and catch myself all the way up with this challenge. And at that point, I will be farther than I was the first time I took the challenge, and so everything from there is going to be basically new to me. So hang in there. If you are having some problems, keep on working through things. If you are having problems and you want to reach out to me for some help, please feel free to do that. Leave a comment on one of my videos and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Okay? Peace out. Have a good one.